bring in former FBI agent Bobby Chacon for more answers. Bobby, why have there been no arrests?
Well, because first of all, it hasn't even been deemed a homicide yet, right? So the medical examiner's office is still carrying this as a cause of death as deterred. So they haven't determined it yet because there are a lot of tests still yet to come back to determine it. And because, quite frankly, in the advanced state of decomposition and the dismemberment of the body makes all of those determinations more difficult.
You're saying there's a possibility, and when you listen to the LAPD commander, that she could have died from an accidental death, natural causes, something else. She wasn't killed, but someone panicked, put the body in the car. And by the way, leaving the body in the car, which was apparently there for weeks, we don't know when the body was deposited, that tells you something about this. That leaving it in the car, they have to have known that that car was going to be towed.
Yeah, it looks like somebody was tasked with driving that car somewhere and depositing those body parts elsewhere. And they somehow, for some reason, didn't get to do that. And that's going to be part of the investigation. Because you don't, like you said, you don't leave a body in the trunk to get found because you know it's going to be towed at some point if you abandon it. So I think somebody was probably tasked with getting rid of that body and they just failed to do so for whatever reason.
Another way of looking at it is, did they want to set someone up, knowing the car's registered to him, knowing it's going to be found? You put that to the side. This idea of the footage, which I think is really significant. There was footage of her from March of 2024 that came out. Now footage of her from September of 2024 changes the timeline. How does that help investigators? What do they do with that footage?
Well, I would go back to the family and say, if you reported her missing in April and then never reported her being found, why do we see her in her neighborhood in September? You know, months and months after the family first reported her missing. And so the family has some, I think, explaining to do because initially it looked like when she left in April of 2024, they hadn't seen her again. And now that doesn't appear to be the case.
What do you think authorities know that we don't know? I mean, they have confirmed certain things. They talk about, you know, that this was a car that belonged or was registered to David. They talk about that she was dead for quite some time, but they haven't even confirmed what the relationship may or may not be between her and David. I mean, do you think they know more? Do you think they know about this relationship? What do you think they know?
I think they know all about the relationship from her friends, his close circle, his posse that surrounds him. I think they've done extensive interviews with those people, the neighbors in that neighborhood, what they saw and what they heard, and everybody associated with him, both in his record business and his personal life. I think they've interviewed all those people extensively. I think they have a good handle on what the relationship between the two of them are or was. And I think they're waiting for that final stamp of approval for the medical examiner to say, okay, this is a homicide. Now, how they're going to get to that point, I don't know. They've already done all of the physical exams of the body. In fact, the body's been turned back over to the family for whatever they'll, you know, dispose of it as in a cemetery or whatever. And so the medical examiner no longer has the body, but they've done everything they could to examine it. And now they've, you know, they have tissue samples at a lab being further examined. But, you know, until you get a declaration of a homicide, it's really difficult to charge anybody.
What happens, do you think it was significant that they searched that property, reportedly maybe found electronics, maybe were looking for forensic evidence of some kind, maybe linking Celeste there, and then he moves out of the property? I think the New York Post reported it was $20,000 a month he was, he was renting that for. What do you think's going on there?
Well, I think they're analyzing the electronic data off of his computers, off of his cell phones and things like that, tracking down a lot of different calls that were made, cell towers that were used, and they're trying to build not only the timeline, but the geographic areas where they were operating in.
All right, well, this is a continuing story. Hopefully we'll be able to follow it. Former FBI agent Bobby Chacon, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.